This channel has changed my life and some big things are happening to this channel. Let's talk about it. Now, I've been wanting to make this video for a while because I feel like it's time for me to give you some updates about what's going on behind the scenes, what's going on with this channel, what is to come, and am I going to do YouTube full time? But I also just wanted to seize the opportunity to just connect with you guys. Most of my videos are very edited and fast paced, but today I just wanted to chill. So this video will be split into two parts. I want to give you some updates about my YouTube because I definitely have some really big things to talk about. And then in the later half of this video, I'll be just giving you guys a reading update. I'll be showing you some book mail and just have a chat. Now this video will probably not do well in the algorithm because usually YouTube doesn't reward this type of content, but I don't care. I just want to have a heart-to-heart with you guys today, so go and grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea and let's chat. Also, I have this milk chocolate Santa lolly. Yes, Christmas is coming. It literally fell off. Tastes nice though. Okay, YouTube updates. I started this channel back in January this year and I've now uploaded 72 videos, I think. I'm close to reaching 13,000 subscribers and I have now more than 650,000 views across all my videos, which is absolutely insane. And this growth obviously opens up the conversation about whether I'm hoping to do YouTube part-time or full-time someday, so let's talk about that first. Now, I never really considered doing YouTube as a job when I started this channel, but I'm now in a position where I'm actually generating some income from my hobby. Now, it's not like I'm earning a lot, but the fact that I'm actually earning a bit is opening up that broader conversation about what I want to do with my YouTube. Is this something I would want to do if this continued to grow in this rate? And the answer to that is probably. If I was in a position where I could justify doing YouTube as a part-time or maybe even full-time job, then I would definitely consider it. But to get to a place like that, you need to invest a lot of time and money to make that happen. So let's talk about some of the changes I made recently. In my personal life, I recently started my master's in business strategy and innovation, and I knew it was going to be a challenge to balance YouTube and my degree. And obviously, I knew that I needed to prioritize my degree first because YouTube is still just a hobby for me. But I want to keep making videos for you guys, even though I'm much more busy than ever before. But I needed to answer the question at the beginning of this academic year: how do I balance focusing on my degree and also doing YouTube? Well, I'm really excited to announce that I've actually hired an editor to help me with 2 videos a month. Yes, that is correct. I now have an editor, which is mad. Firstly, I wanted an editor because editing is definitely the most time-consuming aspect of this channel, and I was thinking that if I could get help with that, then I would have so much more time to study my degree, but also make better videos for you guys. Secondly, I have always believed in reinvesting into your channel if you want to continuously grow, and that is where my patrons come in. I'm currently earning around £80 from my Patreon, and I'm using all of that money to hire an editor to do 2 videos for me a month. That is why my patrons mean so much to me. Now, don't get me mistaken, you absolutely don't have to be a patron to be part of this community. I appreciate every single one of you immensely, but by having a monthly revenue stream coming from my Patreon, I'm literally able to continuously make videos for you guys, which means the world to me. And therefore, I also briefly want to talk about some of the changes I made to my Patreon. Now, I don't really enjoy promoting my Patreon that much because I really want to emphasize that it is totally voluntary to join my Patreon. And I've always felt a bit weird about accepting other people's money, so I've been working really hard on giving some benefits back to my patrons. Now, if you just want to skip to the reading updates and stuff, I'll leave a timestamp here. But what's new to my Patreon? Firstly, if you enjoy informal chats like this, where I just give you guys a reading update, show you some book mail, and talk about some of the videos I'm working on, then I actually post such a video to my Patreon every single month. Secondly, I'll be doing one Patreon exclusive author interview every single month. It is basically a chance for my patrons to connect with some of their favorite authors in unique ways. I will be giving my patron a chance to ask questions to their favorite authors, and for this month, I am interviewing Ken Liu, the author of the Dandelion Dynasty, and next month I'll be chatting to Charles Baldry, the author of Legends and Latte. So yeah, if you want to ask some questions to Ken Liu and Charles Baldry, then I'll leave a link in the description down below on how to access that. Okay, enough talking about Patreon and YouTube. Let's talk about what I've been reading recently, what I'm currently reading, and also let me show you some book mail. Sorry, I had to move the camera a bit. Are you guys enjoying your tea? Okay, what have I recently read? Well, I recently finished Babel by R.F. Kuang. Now, I've been thinking about potentially making a videos about talking my full thoughts on this really popular book, but I don't think I'm actually going to do it. It just seems like that hype train has already gone, and everyone has been talking so much about Babel, so I don't really feel like I need to talk more about it. But what are my thoughts? Is this book worth the hype? I'll say generally yes, it is worth the hype, but if you're expecting something like the Poppy War going into this book, you will definitely not find it. This is a dark academia book set in, it's almost like a historical fantasy. It is beautiful written, the themes are incredibly fascinating, and the characters are so complex, and I just felt so invested in the story. But if you're looking for a fantasy adventure, you won't find it here. But I would definitely encourage everyone to give this one a try. I loved it and I gave it 4.5 stars. And what am I currently reading? Well, I'm currently reading The Poison Song by Jane Williams. This is the Bergen binding edition, which is signed. And the best part is the naked hardback. This is absolutely stunning. So I'm only around 80 pages into this book, but I'm really enjoying it. I am loving this trilogy as a whole. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but I actually read Ninth Reign early this year, and I didn't enjoy it at all, which is the first book. But when I read that book, I just felt like I was supposed to love this book, but I just didn't. So I waited a couple of months and I gave it another chance. And guys, I never reread books, but I decided to reread The Ninth Reign, and I loved it. It has become one of my favorite books of the year. It's just so weird, like the world building is absolutely messed up. It's very fast paced. It has great representation. I just loved almost everything about The Ninth Reign. And I'm now on book 3, and this trilogy has become one of my all-time favorite trilogies. It is definitely not for everyone, but if you're a big fan of modern fantasy, then check out the Wind with Flame trilogy by Jane Williams. It is so good, and I'm so excited to see how this will end. The other book I'm reading is Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. And this is also a signed copy. And similar to The Ninth Reign, I read Alloy of Law and Shadow of Self earlier this year, and I didn't really enjoy them that much. I thought they were just okay. But now that the release of The Lost of Metal is around the corner, I decided to actually reread the first 2 books. So I reread Alloy of Law and Shadow of Self, and I loved it. Once again, I gave some books a second chance, and it was a totally new experience. I don't reread, but like this year has been the year of rereads, and it's literally blowing my mind. And I'm now very close to the end of Bands of Mourning, and I'm also really enjoying it. That being said, this trilogy is not anywhere as good as the original trilogy, but I definitely think that Mistborn Era 2 has a place in the Cosmere, and it's actually not as bad as most people, and I count myself included there, have been saying that this is. If you just adjust your expectations, don't think big epic fantasy similar to Mistborn Era 1 when you pick up this one. Think more like character-driven, western type kind of fantasy when you pick up this book, and I think you will be having a great time. Just take out the original Mistborn trilogy out of your brain before you pick up this trilogy, and I think you'll be fine. Oh, I mean quartet. And after I finished Bands of Mourning, I will be reading The Lost Metal by Brandon Sanderson. Yes, Golan's actually sent me the 4th and last book in Mistborn Era 2, and I am so happy. So this is actually the longest book in Mistborn Era 2. It's still like relatively short, approximately 480 pages, but I am so excited to actually see how this will end. Let's have some more tea. So yeah, thank you so much Golans for sending me a physical copy of The Lost Metal. Alright, let's talk about some other book mail. Kate Elliott, The Unconquerable Sun. Did I pronounce that correctly? Sorry, English is my first language. I am a bit spontaneous, but sometimes you find books online that are just like, this is so cheap, I have to buy it. And this was £8, so that was including the shipping. And this is the Goldsboro signed and numbered edition. So there are only, oh, I'm sorry, you can't see it, but there's only 250 copies of this book in the world, and it's signed and numbered by Kate Elliott. When I saw this, I was just like, I need to buy that. I haven't read anything by Kate Elliott, but when I made that video where I asked authors about their favorite read of the year, Ken Liu mentioned a book by Kate Elliott as one of his favorite books of the year, so I'm definitely intrigued. And I also got some surprise book mail. So I recently read Ascendant by Michael R. Miller, and he now sent me book 2 in the series. So I read Ascendant last month, and I thought it was okay. It's a great YA Dragon Rider fantasy that is quite tropey, so if you're looking for that, then definitely check out this series. And the covers are beautiful, and you actually have a blind dragon. Like, that is such a unique concept, and this is such a beautiful hardback. So thank you so much Michael for sending me a physical copy of Unbound. And then I got Oranges of, did I just say Oranges? Not Oranges, Origins of the Wheel of Time. So this book is coming out this month, and this is like a, I wouldn't even call it maybe a companion. This is more like a closer look at how the Wheel of Time was written. What are the inspirations behind a lot of the words, about the world building. So the first 100 pages are about Robert Jordan's life, how he wrote The Wheel of Time, his way to publishing and so on. And the second 100 pages, they are about like what is inspiration behind the Aiel and Rand's name, and where does Matt's name, and where does all these different names come from. So it's more like an academic look. I read the first 100 pages and I really enjoyed it. So if you're a fan of The Wheel of Time, definitely check out this one. Then I got Moroda by L.L. McRae. Not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but she is the author of the Iron Crown, a book that I read early this year and I absolutely loved it. And this is a quartet, I think, and I think it's even finished. And she sent me a signed copy with some extra goodies. I'm definitely intrigued to check out this one. And you guys know that I've been wanting to read the Broken Earth trilogy all year long, and I'm still planning to get to it this year. And I found The City We Became, and this is actually an ARC copy, so I don't know why anyone was selling this, but yeah, I've heard some really mixed things actually about this one, but I'm definitely interested in giving N.K. Jemisin's work a read. Okay, and the last book is The Severing Son by Juan Roycraft. How beautiful is this cover? So this is a self-published epic fantasy. Philip Chase mentioned that this is one of the best self-published books he's ever read, and I actually really want to give this one a try soon. I love finding underrated fantasy books, and when Philip Chase, an academic in medieval literature, says that this is one of the best self-published books he's ever read, then you know you definitely need to give it a try. He also did sign it. If you're still watching, then I would love to hear what you are currently reading and if you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon, guys.